Congratulations on Air. It's a
Thank
fantastic
you.
movie, such an amazing project. Before we get into your role in this, I wanted to ask you, did you know the story behind the shoe before you got the role?
Yeah, I knew a little bit about Phil Knight and like kind of his coming to be about the whole thing, but I didn't know this side of the story and I didn't know who Sonny Vaccaro was. And um, obviously I know well about Michael Jordan as everyone does. But no, I read the script. It was all new to me. And then actually, told my husband about it. And he had read Shoe Dog, Phil
Mhm.
Knight's book. So we already had in the bookshelf. And then I read that and kind of, got the bigger picture of it all.
Well, knowing the story, how did you feel getting this part?
I mean, it happened so fast, it came just as one audition and I did the work, taped it, sent it in, and then forgot about it as I do with all of my auditions. You got to have a hard head.
Yeah,
And so, and then it came back and I had booked it just from that one tape, and then was going to be filming a few weeks later. So no, I was like, it took a minute to process that, I just felt so lucky to be a part of the project from the beginning before I even knew, the extent of it really.
mhm,
Because in the beginning, I knew that it was Ben Affleck directing and Matt Damon and that they were both going to be in it. I didn't know like, that there were a full cast of incredible actors involved as well.
definitely. And this is a massive story. It's larger than life. And with the cast, it's even bigger. How is it intimidating to have such a well-known cast, or does the pressure get a little bit alleviated from you?
It was definitely intimidating. I'd say until I got on set and like was there and ready to go, I was definitely, feeling the pressure. But you're professional and you're there to do a job. So you just put it aside. I was really happy with how it all played out. And I felt really good amongst them once I'm there. It's like twofold, right? You're so, feeling so grateful to be amongst such high level of talent, because it just makes your job easier. And then it's nerve-wracking too, because these people all know each other too, and they know of each other's talent. They don't know, they've seen obviously, or they know, a few things, but they haven't seen my work. They don't know really, much about me. So I think there's a level too with them of they're like, oh, what are we about to get? We don't know this person as well. So then that puts on a level of pressure as well, because you have like, that one moment to kind of make them feel at ease and, make them feel like, they hired the right person.
Definitely. And having such an experienced cast, how's the collaborative nature in them? Do they play with you? How much do they take from you as you take from them when it comes to acting?
Yeah. Well, for me, I kind of just go in ready to follow their lead, I guess.
Hmm.
So, I went in ready to do my job, and then um I'm just kind of um taking it in. And Jason came over to me because my first scene was with Jason, and he came over to me and was like, let's run lines real quick. So, I'm like, great, let's do it, kind of just like I'm kind of just there to support them in the best way that I can,
Hmm.
and follow their experience and expertise.
Definitely. And your character is there throughout much of the office scenes. What's it like, being there on set, having a part that kind of interacts with a lot of the major stars?
Yeah, it was really cool. I was just kind of I wasn't expecting to be there as much as I was. So when they told me that, they were inviting me back to be there, while they shot the majority of those office scenes. My take on it was kind of just like, okay, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna watch, I'm gonna soak up as much as I can. It's not often that you get to be there day after day on a set like that. And even just like as a producer, as a writer, just like kind of, like taking everything in and how they're working, and just like taking it as an opportunity to just be there and get to soak it all up.
Definitely. And this isn't your first sports casting. You were on Pitch on Fox. That was such an amazing show. What was the difference between playing a character in the baseball world to a character that's somewhat in the basketball world?
Yeah, it's similar other than the time period. The time period kind of just made it a whole different world. Going back to the 80s for this, it's just such a different world for women in particular. But it just, it felt very different in that sense. But yeah, other than that, no, there's a lot of similarities in terms of, the sports world and how things are kind of done.
And while I was reading your bio, you have a lot of experience on do-it-yourself renovations. How does that tie into the whole acting?
Yeah. It's interesting. When I like graduated and started pursuing this full time, they tell you, okay, find a job where you're not working during the day. You can be available for an audition at a moment's notice, or when you book a job at a moment's notice where you don't have to work. So I did, the bartending thing that everyone does for a while. And I kind of like burned out and wanted to find something else. And I had kind of begun finding a passion for like woodworking and refinishing furniture. And I like refinished the kitchen cabinets in my first place. And I just kind of like slowly got into it by doing it myself. And then I was like, maybe there's opportunity here. It's flexible, like it kind of ties in and works alongside acting. And and then it just kind of like snowballed from there. And it became this like extreme passion and thing that I love. And I've just become so obsessed with it and learning how to do it all. And I feel I'm like so grateful these last few years because, it gets exhausting in this business with as much as you're coming up against, not always, seeing the fruits of your labor in acting. It's really nice way to kind of like fulfill that creative side of things with my like building and renovation work, because I can do everything from start to finish completely on my own, and I don't have to rely on anybody else. And it's just been so much fun. I started kind of refinishing furniture for other people and doing that whole thing. And then a couple years ago, I had a dream to buy a complete fixer upper, and we did it. And the last 2 years, I've just been like slowly working my way through and learning how to do all the things to build a house.
Wow. Working with your hands is amazing. It's very therapeutic.
Yeah.
What has that brought to you? What kind of, I guess, peace does just working with your hands and seeing what you're building come to life, like what does that
Yeah.
do for you?
It's so special. And, I think there's two sides to it, because I think a lot of people who are, interested in it, but like a little hesitant about getting involved, see like the frustration side of it, which is definitely there. There's times where you're in it and, you can't figure something out and it's so frustrating and you just want to scream. But the times where you like really get into it and you're just kind of in this like Zen meditative state of just working with your hands and just doing it. It's funny. I like had taken a break over the last month with, everything for the movie and focusing on that. And I had this project that I had been putting off because I hadn't had time for it. And I just started 2 days ago laying a stone veneer And those few hours getting back into it, it filled up my soul so much. And it just, I dropped my daughter off at school, like just all the noise goes away and you're just in your little space with no distractions. It's so fulfilling. It really is.
Definitely. And acting, it can get frustrating because you get a bunch of no's before you get that one yes. Uh, how do you how have you continued your passion for acting, when getting that type of, you know, frustration?
Yeah, it's definitely been hard at times. I just, I mean, I am very good at compartmentalizing. Like I said, I have been very successful at sending in an audition tape or going into an audition room, walking away and completely forgetting about it. There are absolutely those few times where you can't stop thinking about it after, and you're like, I was so right for it. How have I not gotten the call? But for the most part, I've been able to put it aside. And I think, yeah, just kind of like working on building these other interests and passions outside of it. And like, my family and all these things that kind of just, I can like turn my focus to when I need to. And that's really been huge and really helpful.
You've also traveled around a lot in your life. How has immersing yourself in different cultures helped you in your acting career?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I think it's provided a ton of empathy. I'm like, I don't know if it's in my blood or what, but naturally, I'm just a very empathetic person. I feel things that other people feel very deeply. And I think traveling and being around, different cultures and people and all the things has definitely helped. And I just, I just have an interest in it. I love traveling to this day. And, my husband travels for work. He plays professional beach volleyball. So he's on the world tour traveling around, and we try to go with him, to a few new spots every year. And I just think it's so important to like just get outside of your world and bubble and see how other people live, because there's so many ways to do it. And we really
Definitely.
only know one way of it, how we do it. So yeah, it's really cool to be able to do that.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Yeah.
Congratulations once again. You seem very passionate about both your acting and your self renovation and building. So, congratulations on everything, and
Thank
thank you very
you.
much for your time.
Thank you. Thanks for talking to me.